Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, before we get going too far down the road we're going down, proud to announce that this video is being brought to us by the Sonoran Desert Institute. That's right. Get ready to arm yourself with education. Get ready to launch your career in the firearms industry. And most importantly, get ready to start defending the inalienable rights of millions of Americans nationwide, all through the amazing act of education. For more information, visit my good friends at Sonoran Desert Institute. That's at sdi.edu. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is a question that I get way too frequently, which is why does it take the court so damn long to actually get anything done? And it's an excellent question. And yes, the wheels of justice turn slow, but it appears that sometimes there are procedural mechanisms in place, which is eventually just designed to allow the courts to kick the can down the road. The problem is when they're doing that, yeah, you are all living under the tyranny of that law for several more years. Don't believe me? We'll give you a classic example of how they do it. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about how this New York case shows that the end is never really in sight. Okay, America, the case we're talking about today is Antonyuk v. James. It used to be called Antonyuk v. Nigrelli. And you will notice that oftentimes I sit there and say, well, the case used to be called this, but now it's called that. Why is that? Well, because these cases take so damn long to actually resolve themselves that sometimes the plaintiffs die. What happened in the Maryland assault weapon ban case is Bianchi just said, to heck with it, I can't be in this state anymore. He bailed, went to a state where he could live free like an American, and in jumps Snope. Same thing happened here. Now, you guys all might remember way back in the summer of 2022. It was a long time ago. It's almost 2.5 years ago now. We had a massive case come out, New York Pistol and Rifle Association v. Bruin. And at the time, there had been all sorts of other cases that were sitting on the front door of the Supreme Court that got what? GVR'd. That's right. Granted, vacated, and reviewed. And we used to think that that was a big deal and usually a positive sign. Well, I'm here to tell you, America, what this is really turning out to be is just a big, long rain delay, okay? Because that's all this is doing. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. We're going to start here with this New York case. We remember after Bruin came out that the state of New York absolutely crapped its pants, passed the New York Concealed Carry Improvement Act, which basically turned the entire state into one gigantic sensitive place. There were numerous challenges, and at the trial court level, a judge had basically enjoined most of New York's Concealed Carry Improvement Act. Of course, the state of New York crapped its pants, went up to the Second Circuit, and then the Second Circuit stayed most of those injunctions, leaving a few injunctive reliefs in place, but most of the law was allowed to go into effect. That, of course, then forced the plaintiffs in this case, which is the gun owners of America, to take the case to the United States Supreme Court. The United States Supreme Court granted review. Yay! They vacated the ruling, so clearly they had a problem with it, and they remanded it back after the Rahimi case. And you sit there and you go, well, wait a second. We're talking about sensitive places, and didn't Rahimi talk about whether or not we had a historical tradition of disarming dangerous people? Yeah, that's right. It is pretty much apples to oranges. And so it begs the question, why the heck was it getting GVR'd after Rahimi? Now, I understand why a lot of cases got GVR'd after Bruin, because we had basically announced a whole new test for determining the constitutionality of gun control legislation. So that would apply to a large swath, if not all, Second Amendment cases that were pending before the Supreme Court. But you see, this was a much more narrow issue, which is, do we have a historical tradition of banning firearms in these particular places? The Rahimi case was about, do we have a historical tradition of banning firearms from individuals like this? So it really is apples to oranges. Well, guess what? The case gets GVR'd back, and you think the Second Circuit has a second thought about it and rethinks it and says, well, upon further review, maybe we missed this one. No, they issue exactly the same ruling. Okay, the ruling has literally not changed one bit. And it didn't change one bit for two reasons. Number one, the Second Circuit didn't want it to change, but also because Rahimi gave him no new guidance whatsoever. Let me give you another example. Let's talk about the case of Bianchi v. Frosch, which then came Bianchi v. Brown, which then came Snope v. Brown. And that again goes to show you the age of these cases. Okay, that case was sitting on the front doors of the United States Supreme Court when Bruin came down. It was GVR'd back down to the Fourth Circuit. Now, we are just talking about that case finally making a petition on final merits to the United States Supreme Court 2.5 years later. And even though the Bruin case clearly did give the Fourth Circuit a whole new roadmap by which to navigate through, guess what? They issued the exact same ruling. Oh, let's take a look at both of the California cases. Now, one used to be called Duncan v. Becerra. The other one used to be called Miller v. Becerra. They're now called Duncan v. Bonta and Miller v. Bonta because, again, the case is so old that the state of California has changed their attorney general. One of them deals with the magazine bans in California. The other one deals with the assault weapon bans in California. They, too, were both GVR'd way back in the summer of 2022. They went back, it kicked around in the San Diego District Court forever. Judge Benitez issued his ruling. The Ninth Circuit stepped in, grabbed it. A 3-judge panel had control of it until the full en banc panel decided, nah, we're just going to step in and take it ourselves. And what have we heard from either one of those cases yet? No, it's been nothing but crickets and tumbleweeds out of California when it comes to the Duncan and Miller cases. Hey, take a look at what Senior Vice President over the Gun Owners of America, Eric Pratt, had to say after the Antonyuk case came back with the same result. This is an incredibly frustrating ruling. The Second Circuit got it wrong the first time. SCOTUS told them so and said try again. And this nearly identical ruling is a slap in the face to the justices and every gun owner across New York. And it's almost sometimes like the United States Supreme Court almost like, I don't know, enjoys this abuse, okay? Because you send these cases back and you just know what the Second Circuit and the Fourth Circuit and the Ninth Circuit and the Seventh Circuit and the state of Hawaii and the state of California and the state of Illinois and all those other states, you know what they're going to do to you, and yet you allow them to do it anyways. So moving forward, America, anytime from this point forward, if we see a case that has been GVR'd, granted, vacated, and remanded back, I'm not going to be excited about it, and neither should you, because all this really is a big, long, inevitable, and painful rain delay that is created by the court's own rules. Listen, we're going to go ahead and link up all the cases that we relied upon so that you can see the tortured journey that each and every one of them has been on. Maybe you got more questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights. If you guys do, you should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. But if you don't, that's okay. That information, it's down there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, great. We'd love to hear about it. Click on that link right there. Let us know. It's probably going to be better than any idea we come up with. If all you want to do is subscribe to our monthly newsletter, you could have skipped ahead to the description box right now. All the information on how to do that is right down there. And then finally, and most importantly, America, let's remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.